Okay, good morning, everyone. So we have already discussed the general principles of taxation. We already have discussed income taxation in general, and then income taxation for individual taxpayers. Focusing ito sa sources of income for individual taxpayers. Like ito, it could be from compensation income, it could be from business, it could be from dealings in property. Nung dumato na to, how do we compute capital gains tax? And then how do we classify capital assets from ordinary assets? Kaya lahi man ang taxation nga to ang gamito na niya. And then other sources of income for individual taxpayers, it could also be for practice of profession. So these are the sources of income when we are talking about individual taxpayers. And then when we are talking about business income, tanawon to na to. What could be the grounds to which we could claim that expenses in our business? Bantayan na nato, it must be ordinary in our business, it must be necessary in our business, and the amount should be reasonable. It must commensurate with the operation of the business. And also, para strictly identified na to that these expenses are pertaining to our business, it must be duly substantiated with valid invoices. So that grounds for which we could use these expenses as deductions in our gross sales could likewise be applied in corporate income taxation. Si individual taxation, individual taxpayers, daghan mo siyang sources of income. Kato kong ipang-enumerate earlier. But for corporate income taxation, dili mo apply si compensation income because most of the time, corporation, sila man ang employers. So wala employer-employee relationship because wala siya sources of income from employment relationship because siya man ang nagpasweldo. Dili man siya ang recipient sa sweldo. Wala mo siya practice of profession because if we will relate this to our corporation law, you cannot engage in profession if you are a corporation. That is under Section 10 of the Revised Corporation Code, if you could remember your corporation law. Dili ka pwede makapractice of profession. Wala yung mga lawyers operating under a corporation. Wala yung mga doctors operating under a corporation. So, dili na siya pwede maka-generate of income out of their practice of profession. Na yung mga dealings in property, yes, na then most of the time, corporate income taxation, ang ilahang source of income is limited only to business income. And then, attorney, how do we classify corporation from income taxation? Is it the same ba with our corporation law that it is a juridical entity created by operation of law? Yes, parehas-parehas na ang atong definition sa corporation in the revised corporation code and the corporation as provided in the tax code, in the National Internal Revenue Code. Pero atong basahon, kung sa'yo na sa tax code, kinsa man ni ang atong mga corporate taxpayer. So the term corporation shall include one-person corporations, partnerships, no matter how created or organized, joint stock companies, joint accounts, associations, or insurance companies, but does not include general professional partnerships and a joint venture or consortium formed for the purpose of undertaking construction projects or engaging in petroleum, coal, geothermal, and other energy operation pursuant to an operating consortium agreement under a service contract with the government. So atong basahon, ang definition sa corporation under the tax code kay expanded siya compared sa definition sa corporation under the revised corporation code. Kung definition lang, yes, sakto ang nasa revised corporation code. But as to treatment on how should we tax these entities, must brought ang definition under the tax code. Because the tax code is not limited to the corporation created under the revised corporation code. It covers also partnership. It covers also joint accounts. It covers also associations, insurance companies. Mga itong bantayanan. So, kani sila tanan, under the scope of the definition of the corporation, are taxed the same. Naatay ko ang diriha, caveat, but does not include general professional partnerships. Di ba? Kung i-emphasize ganiha, corporations do not earn income from employment relationship. They likewise do not earn income from practice of profession because og revised corporation code atong tanawon, di sila pwede maka-create og corporation if practice of profession. And also in the tax code, they are not taxed like a corporation but does not include general professional partnerships. Mao na siya ang ato ang interpretation in this definition. General professional partnerships like lawyers, doctors, accountants, they are not taxed like ordinary corporation. Separate ang ato ang treatment sa ilaha. Final withholding tax ang atong i-impose sa ilaha. Ang tax is not on the general professional partnership but on the individual members of the general professional partnership. So, dili pwede i-tax like a corporation. Bantayanan na nato ha. Again, when we are talking about corporation, in taxation, broader in scope. It covers association, it covers joint accounts, etc., etc. So, this includes domestic and foreign corporation. Wala gi-classify nga to, di ba? In our statutory construction, if wala gi-classify, no need to classify. Kung unsay gi-provide under the definition, then that is the definition. Ano kailangan man nato i-distinguish si domestic and foreign corporation in this discussion, in this slide? Because if you could recall, for our individual taxpayers, resident resident Filipino citizens, RFC, are taxed for income within and without. All the rest, they are only taxed for income within the Philippines. Same goes also to our corporation. Si corporation lang, under the tax code, it covers both domestic and foreign corporation, covering also associations, joint accounts. Tax na sila, they are taxed the same, 20 or 25% as a rule. But, ngano i-distinguish man nato si domestic and si foreign corporation? Because domestic corporation, they are taxed for income within and without the Philippines. Meaning, income from the Philippines and income outside of the Philippines. And then for foreign corporation, they're only taxed within the Philippines. Mao na tong bantayanan. Dili ta ka-tax for income generated outside of our country. Only tax for income within the Philippines. Klaro? I think I am clear in that case. Also, bantayanan ni nato ha? Bantayanan ni nato because naapod tayo mga special rates for special corporations. Pero di na lang na nato i-discuss ang mga special rates for special corporations. Aring lang ta, domestic corporation and foreign corporation. Attorney, kung saan na to pag-ibaw that particular entity, that particular corporation is a domestic corporation, balik ta sa atong revised corporation code. Unsa gito? Incorporation test. Unsa man nga law ang gigamit in creating that particular corporation. If they are using the revised corporation code under the incorporation test, then that is a domestic corporation. Being so, it shall be taxed for income within and income outside of the Philippines. Foreign corporation, definitely, created pursuant to other corporations code. Other corporation code, not our revised corporation code. I need to emphasize this one. General professional partnerships. Walay labot, please. Walay labot ha ang general professional partnership. Appeal ang partnership like ordinary partnership doing business, but it does not include general professional partnership. Lawyers, doctors, accountants, engineers, they are not taxed like corporations. Pero if ang inyong partnership is not engaged in the practice of profession, nagnegosyo lang, partner mo sa mga amigo, tukod mo bakery, partner mo sa mong amiga, merchandising mo, then this partnership falls under the ambit of a corporation, which should be taxed at a rate of 20 or 25%. Mano siya itong pag-classify ha? In relation sa itong earlier slide na to, when we are talking about domestic corporation, taxable within and without the Philippines. Income tax rate, 20 or 25%. Attorney, why is there a need to distinguish whether 20% or 25% ba? Before the train law, ang corporate income tax nato dako kayo. That's 32%. After the train law, ubos-ubos to siya, and then during the create more corporate recovery bill na do, na siya 20 or 25%. Katong mga corporations with assets of over 1 million, 100 million, moto sila in general are subject to 25%. Mas dako sila grade. Then now po ito yung income requirement. I think I will be able to show that in a separate slide. But for foreign corporation, they are only taxed within the Philippines, and the income tax rate for this corporation is 25%. Si domestic corporation, either 20 or 25%. So the term corporation shall also include the following: non-stock, non-profit educational institution. Can you still remember this under our Constitution? Di ba naman constitutional limitations? Among these limitations, kay kaning non-stock, non-profit educational institutions. For income, di ba? Katong income and for real properties owned by non-stock, non-profit educational institution, they shall be exempt from whatever taxes, including real property tax, basta kay non-stock, non-profit educational institution. Pero kato ganing mga charitable institution lang, religious institution, katong mga mosque, katong mga simbahan, they are only exempt from real property tax. Dili sila exempt as a rule sa ilang other sources of income. But when we are talking about non-stock, non-profit educational institution, they are exempt from whatever taxes, real property tax, internal revenue taxes, and even customs duties. That's the general rule. The term corporation also cover private education institution like our school. Di ba? Kanitong eskwelahan, this is a private education institution. We need to distinguish this one from non-stock, non-profit education institution because of the impact of taxation. Because when we are talking about non-stock, non-profit education institution, they are generally exempt from taxes. But when we are talking about private education institution, subject siya to income tax. Pero dili ta mo gamit sa 20 or 25%. Naa sila special rate if data mo violate sa predominance test, which we will be discussing in a separate slide upon. And then, napot yung mga non-profit hospital. As a rule, they are subject to income tax, pero lower rate. And then, napot yung mga proprietary hospital, subject to regular income tax rate. O magstorya gitag regular income tax rate ha, when we are talking about regular income tax rate, kani 20 or 25%. If magstorya tag special rate, lahi nga rate, it could be lower. Mo na tong bantayan. When we are talking about corporation, as a rule, regular income tax rate, 20 or 25%. Maghisgot lang niya ta, along our discussion, aning mga special rates, like for private education institution, non-profit hospital. Kaning proprietary hospital, they are subject to regular income tax rate. And then for foreign corporation, resident foreign corporation, wala ni siya 20 or 25, automatic 25%. And then non-resident foreign corporation, special rate ni sila, mas dako ni. But for both corporation, both foreign corporation, they are only taxed within the Philippines. Arita, balik ta sa non-stock, non-profit educational institution. Duha ang yang exemption. Exemption as to real property tax and exemption as to all taxes. So, exempt siya. Tax exemption of revenues and assets, including grants, endowments, donations, or contributions to educational institutions, exempt na siya as a rule, basta non-stock, non-profit educational institution. Exempt po siya for assets subject to real property tax as long as these assets are used ADE, actually, directly, and exclusively for educational purposes. Basta non-stock, non-profit, automatic exempt din na siya sa kanan. Real property tax with the requirement of ADE, actually, directly and exclusively used for educational purposes. And exempt po ang yung revenue taxes, yung revenue from taxes, if non-stock, non-profit, provided katong mga predominance test, which dili na siya ma-discuss kayo dili sa non-stock, non-profit, ma-discuss na si predominance test when we are talking about proprietary educational institution. Okay? Bantayanan na siya ha. And then when we are discussing about non-stock, non-profit educational institution, inumduman na to, De La Salle versus CIR. Katong Imbodo, if you could recall, the Imbodo doctrine, katong drawing. So regardless of sources of income, as long as this income is to be used for educational purposes, even if ang income gikan sa kantin, even if ang income gikan sa lain nga activity sa school, so basta kay non-stock, non-profit educational institution lang ka, and then gigamit na ni mga income for educational purposes, for the furtherance of our operation as an educational institution, Yes, exempta from whatever taxes, revenues, etc., etc. And then for our real property tax, actually directly and exclusively used lang. Ang ato ang bantayanan. That is for non-stock and non-profit educational institution. Exempt yun na sila as a general rule because that is provided under our 1987 Constitution. Klaro na siya. Namugas nag-discuss niya in our earlier meetings. And then, we need to classify non-stock non-profit educational institution from private educational institution. Because private educational institution, dili man siya exempt. Exempt ra siguro siya from property taxes if ang property gigamit actually directly and exclusively used for educational purposes. That's for property tax. How about the income? Matrikula, tuition, miscellaneous fees, etc., etc. Exempt ba gyapon sa attorney? Dili, because atong presumption when we are discussing private educational institution, these are not non-stock, non-profit educational institution. Na sila mga shares of stocks. Na sila mga subscriptions of shares. So, dili siya non-stock. Dili po siya non-profit. Ang purpose niya, nga nung nakam up na siya, is to generate income. I-distribute among the incorporators. I-distribute among the members of the corporation. That is for private educational institution. Since wala may constitutional limitation as to tax exemption, ari labi na sa iyang revenues, they are now subject to income tax. Ang iyang rate lang is not the regular 20 or 25. Naa lang siya special rate. Ang iyang special rate is 10% of their taxable income. Ano sa ta? Taxable income. Saan gina to pagkuha sa itong taxable income? If you could still remember, diba? Natay gross sales minus cost. Sales minus cost, that is our gross income. Gross income minus the operating expenses minus the administrative expenses, that is our net income. That is our taxable income. So pila man ang rate nga itong i-enforce against this private educational institution? Not 20, not 25, but 10% of their taxable income. O na itong bantayanan ha. Mas makasave sila because 10% naman ang i-impose. But, naatay additional requirement. Basahon ni nato, second bullet. Provided that its gross income from unrelated trade business or other activity does not exceed 50% of the total income. Meaning to say, dapat majority sa atong operation should be coming from private educational activities. Butang ta lang na atay 4-story building. First ug second floor, commercial na siya. Na ay 7-Eleven, na ay Rose Pharmacy, na ay 360 Pharmacy, and all other establishments atong gipaabangan that is registered under the name of our private educational institution. First ug second floor ha. Third ug fourth floor, nag-operate na ta sa atong private educational institution. So if 50% sa atong income is from private educational activities, and then 50% kaning sa first and second floor is from other unrelated activities, unrelated man na atong registration, educational activities niya, nagpaabang ta, these are unrelated. So if 50-50 lang, why problema? Our tax rate is 10%. Then what will happen be? If ang first, ang second, ug ang third floor, kay puros nagipaabangan, ang atong educational activities na nasa fourth floor. So definitely, ni-exceed ta sa 50% na requirement under the predominance test. So if ni-exceed ta sa 50%, uy, dili na day ka mainly about educational activities. You are doing business like regular corporation. Being so, dili ka makakuha aning 10% ka special rate. It would be unfair to other corporations. Ang uban, 20 or 25%. Ikaw ay mag 10% ka despite the fact that you are operating more than 50% from your unrelated activities. So if we are going to recap this one, you can only avail of the 10% special rate based on their taxable income if your gross income from unrelated trade, business, or other activity does not exceed 50% of your total income. So hinumduman lang to ninyong building. If ang first and second floor unrelated, third and fourth floor educational activities, okay, 50-50, 10% ta. Pero if first, second, third gani, kay para na sa unrelated, fourth floor nila nahibilin, uy, that is subject now to regular rate. Pila man ang regular rate? 20 or 25%. So how do we define unrelated trade, business, or other activity? Activities not substantially related to the exercise or performance by such educational institution of its educational purpose or function. Definitely, pagpa-register na to, ang ato ang primary activities under our Articles of Incorporation is to do educational, institutional activities. Kung yun itong function, magtudlo ka sa itong mga estudyante. Yet, when you are now doing your business, giparent naman ang nimos, mga pharmacies, mga law office, clinic, dental clinic, sa pa ng mga tindahan dyan, convenience store, nahitabo, mas dako pa yung unrelated activities. So you are now subject to regular income tax. Anything not related to our educational activities, that is subject to regular income tax as a rule. That's our unrelated trade or business. Lagi ruling ani, ha? There's a ruling, BIR ruling. School-owned canteen, cafeteria, dormitory, and bookstore within the school premises are considered as related activities. Oh. For the furtherance man asam demo kaon mo mga estudyante, sa cafeteria, sa canteen, asam demo palitog libro, sa bookstore. So these are presumed to be related to business. Pero, mga pharmacy, dental clinic, di naman na siya related. Convenience store, these are unrelated already. So, dapat bantayan nato si predominance test. Attorney, unsa man gyud ang exact definition ni predominance test? So predominance test, under this test, if the gross income from unrelated trade, business, or other activity exceeds 50% of the total gross income derived by such institution from all sources, the normal income tax applies or the regular income tax applies. So predominance test. Kainomdo mo, civil law, preponderance of evidence, balansihon ra sa ato ang weighing scale, ug asa mo'y mas bugat, mupabor ang balaod pud sa ilaha. Ato na lang pud na hinumduman. Makalimot ta permi ni predominance test, pero mahinumduman man na nako si preponderance. So sounds like raman na, predominance, preponderance. So pareha sa sila 50-50. So under the predominance test, og mas dako kag income from related activities sa ato ang educational activities, then subject ta to special rate of 10%. But if dako ang atong income from unrelated activity under the predominance test, subject na ta sa tanan on its entirety to regular income tax rate. Dili pwede bahinon. Attorney, pwede half lang regular, half lang pwede special. Dili. Entirety atong tanawon. So if nilapas na 50%, ni-violate sa predominance test, the entirety of our income, related and unrelated, subject to regular income tax of 20 or 25%. But if mas dako atong related activities, in its entirety, ang atong income is subject to special rate of 10%. That is for private educational institution. Batayan na si private educational institution. Kay taxable man gyud ang private educational institution. Unlike non-stock, non-profit educational institution, which falls under the constitutional limitations. Exempt yun na sila to real property tax and exempt po na sila to all other internal revenue taxes like income taxes and even customs duties. Non-profit hospital. So, anong kailangan i-distinguish? Non-profit hospital, they are taxable, same with the rules applicable to proprietary educational institution. So, 10% special rate po dahil si non-profit hospital. Ayaw iparihas si non-stock non-profit educational institution o si non-stock non-profit hospital. Because si non-stock non-profit educational institution exempt as a rule from everything. Si proprietary educational institution, taxable to 10% special rate. And then for non-profit educational, non-profit hospital, they are taxed like proprietary educational institution. They are not exempt from property taxes and everything, they are taxed like proprietary educational institution, which is at a rate of 10%. In a case, CIR versus St. Luke's, a non-profit hospital remains to be so as long as it does not distribute any of its profits to its members and such profits are reinvested pursuant to its corporate purpose. So, furtherance of business gihapon. Pero wala may constitutional provision granting them tax exemption in its entirety. So, ari na lang ta sa special rate of 10%, like proprietary educational institution. So, non-stock non-profit educational institution exam. Proprietary educational institution 10%. Tapad anak niya is the non-profit hospital, special rate of 10%. But proprietary hospital, proprietary naman gani mo, pag ito constitutional provision granting tax exemption, are na lang ta taxable with the rules applicable to proprietary educational institution. Kaya siya. Kung siya, kasagaran, proprietary hospital, 20 or 25% binasaya. Aray na lang ta sa, basta si non-profit hospital, ako lang klaruhan na, proprietary educational, non-profit hospital, tax like proprietary educational institution. But for proprietary hospital, 20 or 25%, dili na mo apply si predominance test. Proprietary. So, non-stock non-profit, proprietary educational institution, non-profit hospital, mas ubos si proprietary hospital, subject to 20 or 25%. Foreign corporation, okay naman tayo ni, taxable at a rate of 25% for income within the Philippines. Then ang atong basis, when we are talking about resident foreign corporation, is the taxable income. Review, balik, taxable income. Gross sales minus cost equals gross income. Gross income minus operating expenses, taxable income or the net income. But for non-resident foreign corporation, parehas biya sila 25%. Pero tanawa, asa man gibasihan, asa man ang taxable base. If resident foreign corporation, arita sa net income, then 25%. But for non-resident foreign corporation, dako kayo, based on the gross income. Kabota, ha? Unsa si gross income? Vis-a-vis net income. Si gross income, ang iyang gibantayan is only gross sales minus cost to come up with the gross income. So if ang ato ang gross sales is 100 million, ang ato ang cost is 50 million, our gross income is 50 million. Automatic 25% for non-resident foreign corporation. But for resident foreign corporation, taxable income man. So gross sales of 100 million, cost of 50 million, gross income nimo is 50 million. And then, naapatay operating expenses na 40 million. So, 50 minus 40 million, o 10 million na lang ang ato ang net taxable income. So, 25% of the net taxable income. So, pareha sila at 25%, but differs in the taxable base. Because non-resident foreign corporation are taxed based on their gross income. Resident foreign corporation are taxed based on their net taxable income. Klaro ta diha, klaro ta diha. And then domestic corporation, 20 or 25%. When can we say, attorney, that it is subject to 20%? When can we say that it is subject to 25%? So except as otherwise provided in this code, an income tax rate of 25% is hereby imposed upon the taxable income derived during each taxable year from all sources within and without the Philippines by every corporation. So the general rule is 25%. Then for every general rule, we have these exceptions man. So unsa ka exceptions na to? However, corporations with net taxable income not exceeding 5 million and with total assets not exceeding 100 million, excluding land, they shall be taxed at a rate of 20%. So the general rule is the 25%. Pero, as an exception, if dili gani mo lapas ang imong income of 5 million, and dili gani mo lapas ang imong assets of 100 million, gamay-gamay man ka nga taxpayer, gamay-gamay man ka nga corporation compared atong uban, 20% lang ang ato ang gamiton nga rate. So to summarize, if the net taxable income is less than 5 million and the total assets, excluding land and PPE, is less than 10 million, 20%. Otherwise, 25%. Ang ato ang corporate income tax. Attorney, question. What if, attorney, 5 years na ko nga nagsigig operate sa akong corporation, yet wa man ko'y income, negative man perme. Ako ang sales, 10 million. Akong cost, 8 million. Pila na lang akong gross income, attorney? 2 million. Yeah, pila man yung operating expense? 5 million, attorney. O, 2 million minus 5 million. Negative 3 million. Wala ko'y tax, attorney. Okay, sige. Batang dalang, wala kay tax. Pero, the legislative department introduced the minimum corporate income tax. So, minimum corporate income tax. So, tanang corporations di ay, as a rule, even if nag-negative ka sa imuhang operation, subject day gihapon ka to minimum corporate income tax. So, walay ikyas, manguliktag yung buhis si BIR because there is a minimum corporate income tax. Attorney, does it apply to individual taxpayers? What if nag-negative pud ko sa akong business? Basaha gud. Minimum corporate income tax man na. Di man na minimum individual income tax. So the minimum corporate income tax does not apply to individual taxpayers. This only applies to corporation, including partnership association as defined in our earlier slide. So, even if nag-negative ta, bahalag gitikas-tikas na nimo imong financial statement to the point ka nag-0-0 ka for the longest years, still the BIR would collect minimum corporate income tax. Hinumduman to nato itong formula ha, gross sales minus cost, that is our gross income. Gross income minus operating expenses, that is our net taxable income. As a rule, the regular income tax rate of 20 or 25% is based on our net taxable income. If nag-negative na for the longest years, do not worry. The BIR shall still collect the minimum corporate income tax. So it was introduced under RA 8424. The Congress intended to put a stop to the practice of corporations which, while having a large turnovers, only report minimal or negative net income, resulting in minimal or zero income taxes year in and year out. Di mali ka yan. When you are doing business, makita ang gitag pamaagi nga watay mabayaran tax. Dako kay tag tax oy compared to other countries. So ang buhaton sa abang mga negosyante, buhaton sa abang mga businessmen, sa ilang corporations, sige, jack upan na nato ang operating expenses para wa tay mabayaran, or if naa magani tay mabayaran, gamay-gamay na lang. Mo nag-i-introduce si minimum corporate income tax. Wa na tay ikiyas. So, in summary, the imposition of the minimum corporate income tax is designed to forestall the prevailing practice of corporations of over-claiming deductions. Ga-jack up sila silang operating expenses in order to reduce their income tax payments. The minimum corporate income tax covers domestic and resident foreign corporations which are subject to regular income tax. Attorney, does it also apply to non-resident foreign corporation? Inomdom mo sa slide earlier, parehas ra mag-rate si resident foreign corporation o si non-resident foreign corporation, 25%. But si resident foreign corporation, iyang taxable base is the net taxable income. Si non-resident foreign corporation, iyang taxable base si gross income. So, dili mo apply si minimum corporate income tax ni non-resident foreign corporation. Okay, sige. So, attorney, pila man ang rate ni minimum corporate income tax? So, the rules in the imposition of minimum corporate income tax equal to 2% of the gross income of a corporation at the close of each taxable year. So, pila? 2% of the gross income. Ang atong regular income tax rate is 20 or 25% based on the net taxable income. But when we are talking about minimum corporate income tax, 2% of the gross income. Balik taon, so ang pagkuha sa gross income o net taxable income, gross sales minus cost, that is our gross income. Diha i-apply si minimum corporate income tax, 2%. So, from gross income, deduct na to si operating expenses, deduct na to si admin expenses, makakam up ta og net taxable income. Diha na to i-apply si 20 or si 25%. Kabaw naman mo kanang sa mag 20%, kabaw naman mo kanang sa mag 25%. And then since minimum corporate income tax man na, whichever is higher. So if nag-negative ang imong taxable income, negative man sa ang imong income tax due. So arita sa imong gross income which is 2%. So tanaw na nato 2% of your gross income, example 100,000, but the 25% of your net taxable income is 500,000. Asa may mas dako? Oh, mas dako si 500,000. So mo to imong bayranan. And then atong balihon, ang nahita po, 2% of your gross income is 500,000. But the 25% of your net taxable income is only 100,000. Minimum man na. Minimum corporate income tax man na. So, ang atong kolektahon is na 500,000. So, dili pwede nga mas ubos imong net taxable income, net tax due sa taxable income compared sa imong minimum corporate income tax. The very reason, dagkuon man gud na nila ilang operating expenses, ipang jack up man gud na nila. So, being so, arita sa gross income magbase. Alik, another example. 2% of your gross income, 300,000. And then 25% of your taxable income is 700,000. Asa may mas dako? Ari gyud ta sa regular income tax rate which is 700,000. Mao gi kolektahon. Mas dako man siya sa imong minimum corporate income tax. So 700,000 imong bayranan nga income tax due. And then usbo na to. 2% of your gross income, 600,000. And then 25% of your taxable income is only 400,000. So asa may mas dako? Ang mas dako is the 600,000 which is your minimum corporate income tax. So ang technique ani, i-compare na to pila man si MCIT, pila man si regular income tax rate. O kung say mas dako, mooy bayranan nimo nga tax due. So mara na ang technique ha, si MCIT versus regular income tax rate. And then, attorney, dili ba na siya katong obnoxious double taxation? Kay parehas man ang sila income tax. Bitaw, parehas bitaw na sila income tax. Pero does it mean kolektahon na mo ang duha? 600,000 and the 400,000 nga in return mahimo na siyang 1 million yung income tax due. Dili na namo kolektahon tanan. As emphasized earlier, what is to be collected is the higher amount. Whichever is higher lang sa MCIT, which is 600,000 compared sa mong regular income tax nga 400,000. Higher man sa MCIT. O, kolektahon ako si 600,000. Hindi na ako mukolekta sa mong 400,000. Kolekta pa ako si BIR because of the minimum corporate income tax. And if mas dako imong regular income tax, kato imong bayaran, di na ako mukolekt sa MCIT. Therefore, this is not considered as an obnoxious double taxation. This is not a direct double taxation because although they are of the same kind, collected by the same agency, collected within the same taxable period, pero mamili man ka unsa mong bayaran. And in your option, dapat arirata sa ato ang higher amount. And it is imposed beginning on the 4th taxable year immediately following the year. Taas kaya na. Basta kay on the 4th year. So if nag-operate ang 2021, mag-start tag-introduce ni minimum corporate income tax on the 4th year. So nag-start tag 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. So ma-introduce si minimum corporate income tax on the 4th year, which is 2024. Kaning first 3 years, tagaan pa makag-opportunity to recover. Dili ba na ingon nga og mag-operate kag business, automatic ginansya dayon. Waagi betag drought, naganay trough ang ato ang business. So sa first 3 years, if nag-negative man gid gani ka, okay, pag negative diha. But when you are already on your 4th year, mag-introduce na ko og minimum corporate income tax. Wala ka ikyas. Klaro? Minimum corporate income tax is based on your gross income at a rate of what rate? 2%. 2% from gross income. Is it collected on the first year operation? No. On the second year operation? No. On the third year operation? Still no. It only starts on the 4th taxable year. So if nag-operate ka pag 2021, 21, 22, 23, 24. start sa minimum corporate income tax on the 4th year. Klaro. Second paragraph, basahon na to. Any excess of the minimum corporate income tax over the normal income tax may be carried forward on an annual basis and be credited against the normal income tax for the 3 immediately succeeding taxable years. So, pasabot ni attorney. Ang pasabot ani, if mas dako imong MCIT, ma-take up dito na to siya as tax credit. O, di-collect na lagi ni BIR ang MCIT. Yet, pwede to nimo sa magamit po for the next 3 years as additional tax credit. Kato to example gani ha. Minimum corporate income tax nimo 600,000. Imo ang normal income tax 400,000. So ang kolektahon na to is the minimum, the higher amount, 600,000. Attorney, di ko alkansi. Akong tax due ram kay 400,000 naman. Ngano ang gikolekta kay 600? Ay kabala ka. Because the excess is to be used as tax credit for the next 3 years. So, nato example. Kay in 2020, imong normal income tax kay 50,000. Imong minimum corporate income tax 75,000. So, imong bayaran is the higher amount nga 75,000. Pero hinumdumi ha, nakay sobra pa nga 25,000. Pag 2021 mao gihapon, imong normal income tax is 60,000. Imong minimum corporate income tax is 100,000. So imong bayaran is the 100,000, the higher amount. So ang nahitabo, daghan na kag sobra, nakay sobra pag 2020 nga 25,000, napo kay sobra nga pag 2021 amounting to 40,000. Now in 2022, ang imong normal income tax kay 100,000 naman. And then ang imong minimum corporate income tax 60,000 naman. So ang imong bayaran is the higher amount, which is 100,000. Nya attorney na man ko sobra nga MCIT from 2020. Okay, atong gamiton as tax credit because the tax credit limitation is within the period of 3 years man. And then pag 2021 nakakay 40,000. So 100,000 nga tax due nimo from your normal income tax, deduct na tong excess sa MCIT nga 25 o 40, o ang imong bayranan is only 35,000. So that's the essence of minimum corporate income tax. Walay ikyas, kolektahon gyud na nato based on the gross income at a rate of 2%. But it shall only be collected starting the 4th year. Tax-exempt corporations under the NIRC. So these corporations, as a rule, are not subject to income tax. Pero sa BIR nga perspective, anyone could claim man that they are under these corporations. So buhaton, magpa-issue ta og ruling, BIR ruling, valid for 3 years, valid for 5 years, kaya usay naman ay changes sa inyong primary purpose in your incorporation or in your certificate of cooperation. So tanawon sa nato, if ang inyong purpose bagyod is in line with this, so labor, agriculture, or horticultural organization not organized principally for profit, so unsaon man nato pagkahibaw, so mag-apply ta og ruling, i-examine nato ang inyong mga records, inyong articles of incorporation, articles of cooperation, inanata na inyo submit sa CDA, submit niya sa SEC. Kay if valid gyud ang ato ang primary purpose, and then mo issue ta og ruling, BIR ruling, that you are tax exempt. Therefore, you are not subject to income tax at a rate of 20 or 25%. Magpa-ruling sa ta. Kay anyone could claim ang good nga non-stock non-profit man mi. Kwan man mi, civic organization man mi. Yes, anyone could claim that. Tanawon sa nato inyong records. And if indeed you are tax exempt, then we will issue a ruling or a certificate that you are tax exempt. So common requisites for these tax exempt corporations, so not organized and operated principally for profit, no part of the net income inures to the benefit of any member of individual, and no capital represented by shares of stocks. Dumi lang na, matter of reading. And then filing of our income tax return. So again, as discussed in our previous meeting, dinagko mong na ang atong income tax. So ato siya i-divide into quarters. Natay first quarter, natay second quarter, natay third quarter. Deadline na niya 60 days following the close of each taxable quarter. And then the annual income tax return, which is ang ato ang adjusted, ang ato ang fourth quarter, deadline is every April 15. When we are talking about corporation, pwede sila mag-calendar year, pwede sila mag-fiscal year. But when we are talking about individual taxpayer, calendar year rataha, ending December 31, 2020X. But for corporations, pwede calendar, pwede fiscal. Then ang deadline for quarterly income tax, 60 days from the close of the taxable quarter. And then for calendar taxpayer for corporation, April 15 yun na. Same goes with our individual taxpayer. So that's it. For our corporate income tax, mubo na kayo. That's 45 minutes nga discussion. So feel free to revisit aning video if complicated or dili kayo ninyo masabtan ang akong discussion. And you can also use your resources, inyong mga materials nga gipamalit to supplement our video lecture. So thank you everyone and see you soonest.